Hey, y'all. Hey, Helena. Hey, Aria. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. And hey, Lavon, I'm here. Y'all. Happy Tuesday. We're going to give everybody just a few minutes to come into the room. Hey, Project 704. Okay, we got Charlotte in the building. Hopefully everybody is doing good. We got a couple of things to talk about tonight. Thank you, Lavon. It's Super Tuesday, so I imagine it's pretty exciting. So we have some states having their primary today. What all states are those? Let me see. But hopefully everybody is doing good. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes just to come in. And while I'm waiting on that, hey Pila, I want to go ahead and shout out my VIP patrons, Valdez, Ray, and Michael Ray. Thank y'all so much. And thank you to all of my patrons. If you are not a subscriber or a patron, the link is in my bio. Become a patron. You get exclusive content. Like the last couple of days, I've been posting some pictures over there of stuff I've been doing. They get to see that stuff first. Videos that I'm working on. Editing. Sometimes they get the behind the scenes, or they get the videos before they're posted here and things like that. So please consider that, becoming a member of my Patreon, starting at $2 a month, and it will be greatly appreciated. A double cheeseburger costs like $2 now, so you know. But hey, Edward. Lavon said right now, Bernie about to get that rip off and chill. Creepy body. Introvert. But yeah, y'all, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. It's gonna be crazy. So I'm gonna spend the latter half of this talking about Super Tuesday and what's going on there. But they are definitely coming for Bernie. It seems to literally be obvious to every freaking body other than the people that just don't want to admit or realize or really don't care what's going on. So Black introverts ADOS has no effect on Black America. I don't know. I would have to sit on that and think about it and evaluate that. I don't know. I really haven't thought much about it. I'm assuming you're saying that because Joe Biden is pulling out in Virginia and North Carolina. I'm assuming that's why you're making that comment. And if that's so, yeah, I could see what you mean by that. But I've already said, and for people that don't know, like introvert is talking about the ADOS movement. If you're not familiar with it, it's like all over YouTube. But I've already talked about how, you know, the middle age to older generation, they kind of marched with Martin Luther King generation. It's gonna be a big difference, and I think as we go forward, it's going to become even more polarizing and shift that we're seeing as far as political activism, what Black people want politically, because our experiences have been different and the availability we have to information is much different. So where you have those older generations that are usually glued to the TV, they still much so watch CNN and MSNBC. This is where they get the bulk of their news from, whereas the younger generation are the people that are more tech inclined, have way more resources for independent sources and things like that. So far, I know that Biden has won North Carolina and Virginia so far, but yeah, we'll keep watching and see what happens. Yeah, I would have not. I guess I really wanted to believe. I really wanted to believe that the establishment was going to, do some type of 180 and was like, we got a little pushback in 2016. We see how so many people have walked away. We see how so many people are disgusted by the things we've done, what we've done to Bernie. We're not going to push an establishment candidate. I just knew that they were going to get smart enough to push. I really thought they were going to push a non-establishment candidate and then do a switch and bait, right? So I thought the DNC this time around, my prediction was I thought they were going to get behind Tom, well, I don't even know if you could say Tom Steyer, but maybe like well, I don't even know who. But I just really thought, I didn't think Joe Biden would be the front runner. I didn't think that for a million years. I just really thought they would get behind somebody else, like a fresh face, and kind of push them as being more progressive, and then do the bait and switch, and they would still end up being a moderate candidate. But this is basically the DNC saying, no, screw y'all still. Screw y'all still. They're literally telling us this to our face. I'm going to show y'all this tonight. Hillary Clinton, people in the DNC are basically coming out saying, screw you, screw the will of the voters. We don't care. We're still gonna push the very establishment candidate. So yeah, but we'll come right back to that. Let's start with this whole Flavor Flav thing. Okay, so Black Introvert said Tom danced with Juvie, should have won. Very funny. So Tom Steyer, and I imagine that was his wife, were on stage dancing with Juvenile to back that A up. I feel like I'm in a freaking Twilight Zone. First of all, can anybody, I'm going to ask y'all, because I trust y'all will be honest with me. I have not been able to figure this out yet. And maybe y'all know. So I'm just going to ask. What is the connection between politics and dancing? What is it? What is the thing? What is the thing with the dancing? Like, why are political candidates always somewhere dancing? What is that? What does it do? Does it do something? Helena J said culture grab. Stefan said free Black votes. BBS Black Man said not a dang thing. Media brainwashing humans need to be entertained. And then the thing is, okay, maybe I would be a little bit impressed if you were actually a good dancer. Like if you came out and I was like, oh, okay, they have some dance moves. They probably danced in their former life. I don't know. I'm just not impressed. And it's very hard for me to believe that in 2020, they're still doing these same tactics. They're still doing, oh my God, I am tired, y'all. It is tiring to my soul. I want somebody to poke a hole in the freaking echo chamber and be like, look, hey, if y'all actually want to resonate with voters, if you actually want voters to like you, you've been doing this for the last 50 years. People are liking you less and less. Maybe try some of this. I don't know. But the dancing, I'm so sick of the dancing. I'm so sick of the singing with the choir. Like, I don't get it. It's just so tired. The whole narrative is so tired, y'all. I can't believe we're still doing this in 2020. Like, it seems so 1992. But anyway, so let's talk about this Flavor Flav thing, y'all. So let's read the initial article. So most of you know Flavor Flav. Now, Flavor Flav is a little bit before my time, okay? So I'm not like a super, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm just a Public Enemy super fan, okay? No, they're a little bit before my time. However, pretty much anybody that knows anything about hip hop knows who Public Enemy, who they are, and is familiar with the song Fight the Power, if not any other song. Very popular song. People in previous generations have argued one of the most influential hip hop songs to date. That may be debatable. You may or may not agree. But it's a very influential song, very influential to that point in history. Well, anyway, this is according to XXL magazine. So this was when it first broke out. This was back on February 29th. Flavor Flav blasts Bernie Sanders rally with Public Enemy. Call campaign fake revolution. This is why I want to read this article in particular, because the newer ones did not mention where Flavor Flav was basically calling this whole thing a fake revolution. So Bernie Sanders' upcoming rally in Los Angeles that will feature Public Enemy isn't sitting right with Public Enemy hype man and rhymer Flavor Flav, who has announced the event. The announced rally is set to go down on Sunday, March 1st at the Los Angeles Convention Center and feature Public Enemy performing. However, Flav has made it clear he wants no part in this endeavor. So they did this whole flyer campaign, Fight the Power, Bernie Sanders plus Public Enemy. And this was Flavor's statement to Billboard. We have become aware that Flavor's bandmate and Public Enemy co-creator Chuck D has endorsed Bernie Sanders' candidacy for president and plans to perform in an upcoming Sanders rally. The statement written by Flav's attorney, Matthew Friedman of Nevada, blah, blah, blah. While Chuck is certainly free to express his political views as he sees fit, his voice alone does not speak for Public Enemy. The planned performance will only be Chuck D of Public Enemy. It will not be a performance by Public Enemy. Those who truly know what Public Enemy stands for knows what time it is. There is no Public Enemy without Flavor Flav. The letter proceeds to call out Sanders' use of trademark material reportedly without Flav's consent and calls the ad for the planned rally grossly misleading. Sanders has promised to fight the power with hip-hop icons Public Enemy, but this rap icon will not be performing at the Sanders rally. To be clear, Flav and by extension, the Hall of Fame hip hop act Public Enemy, with which his likeness and name have become synonymous, has not endorsed any political candidate in this election cycle, and any suggestion to the contrary is plainly untrue. So this is according to XL magazine. So a few days later, after that comes out, Flav was like, look, Chuck D, whoop de whoop, do what you do, but you need to make these flyers say Chuck D plus Bernie Sanders, not Public Enemy and Bernie Sanders, which I think is fair. That seems fair to me. Anyway, so after Flavor Flav comes and releases his statement, Chuck D is basically like, look, dude, you gotta go. So this is according to the Rolling Stone. Public Enemy fire Flavor Flav after Bernie Sanders rally spat. Flavor Flav has been on suspension since 2016 when his MIA. So it came out that they ended up firing Flavor Flav. In fact, Flavor Flav basically came back. I'm just gonna say Flav, y'all, because I'm getting tongue tied. He came back and he was like, "You can't fire me." So Public Enemy came out and clarified that the group did not part ways with Flav over his political views. Flavor Flav has been on suspension since 2016 when he was MIA for the Harry Belafonte benefit in Atlanta, Georgia. That was the last straw for the group. He had previously missed numerous live gigs from Glastonbury to Canada, album recording sessions, and photo shoots. He's always chose party over work. They continued Public Enemy radio tour Europe and co-headline with Wu-Tang Clan in May 2019 without Flavor Flav. So we're just gonna go on here. Public Enemy announced they are permanently moving forward without Flavor Flav, firing one of hip hop's most memorable hype men after more than 35 years. The abrupt dismissal comes just 2 days after the rapper sent a cease and desist letter to Bernie Sanders over Chuck D's concert at the campaign's Los Angeles rally on Sunday. We thank him for his years of service and we wish him well. Okay. 35 years. 35 years, right? Regardless if you had problems with him before, how this is going to look in the media. This is going to be a hot button topic. Not only that, I don't see anything that was presented to us in the media so far that this should have resulted in a firing. If you are part of a group and you do not want your likeness to be used, I feel like that is a fair request. That is a fair request. He didn't say Public Enemy is against Bernie Sanders. He didn't say I'm endorsing somebody different. He didn't say anything negative about Chuck D to my knowledge. He even acknowledged, cool, if you want to endorse Bernie Sanders, go for it. However, using me on the flyer is misleading. Public Enemy is a group. We're not talking about one person. So I think that's fair to take into account how it looks for the entire group. Okay? If this was, I don't know, freaking NSYNC or what's some other groups? Sonny and Cher or Cheetah Girls. I don't know. Yeah, any group. I think it's fair to make that distinction. 98 degrees. I think it's fair to make that distinction. They are public figures. And so if Flav doesn't want to be associated or propped up as an endorsement for Bernie, that is not a reason to fire him, okay? Not only that, let's talk about fight the power. Even though I believe Bernie to not be the typical establishment candidate, Bernie is literally the power. Bernie has been a part of Congress, the power structure, for 20, 30, a lot of years. Okay. Not only that, I hope a lot of people are waking up to the fact that if you can't tell by the way a lot of these people are falling over themselves to endorse Mike Bloomberg, a lot of these endorsements, a lot of them are moved by money. Money. Okay? Do you really think, I mean, I don't know, maybe we could give them the benefit of the doubt, but you really think Juvenile is checking for Tom Steyer? Really? Do you really think Juvenile was sitting at home like, you know what, I love to perform, back that A up for maybe Tom Steyer, because I'm really kind of digging his platform right now, and I think that our message and us working together can really get him a lot of votes. No. That is not how that works. How this works is they pick up the phone, they make connections, they say, hey, do you have connections to Public Enemy? Do you have the number to their publicist? Do you have the number to their manager? How much would y'all charge me, or would you be willing to do an endorsement or perform at this rally for my campaign? And they say, how much you paying? Oh, I'll give you a couple thousand. That's how that works. For anybody to think otherwise, I'm sorry, but just open your eyes to what's happening out here. This is money. So many people coming out of the woodworks supporting Mike Bloomberg. It's crazy. It is crazy. And to assume that it's anything other than money. And it's the same thing with all of these other candidates. They are getting checks to do these performances. It's not, oh, I think you're such a great candidate, I'll just do it for the strength of it. I'll just do it for free. These are jobs. These are paid gigs. Exactly. Southeast Dusty said Chrisette Michelle caught hell for trying to get her check. Exactly. Chrisette Michelle comes to mind. Chrisette Michelle performed for Donald Trump's inauguration, I believe that was. These are performers. They get paid to perform. This is their livelihood. This is their money, okay? Are people just going around checking for Public Enemy? Is Public Enemy's phone ringing off the hook with performances and things like this? I doubt it. Okay? I really doubt it. Not only that, the song Fight the Power, right? Literally talks about resistance, empowerment, literally talks about fighting the power structure. This was during racial tensions back in the late 1980s. Around this time, you also had a lot of rap artists that were actually politically involved when they were fighting for constitutional rights, like the Second Amendment. Okay. A lot of y'all, some of y'all may not remember, or you may not know, you literally had artists like with Uncle Luke. It's gonna come to me in a second. Y'all let me know. the group Uncle Luke was with, you literally had these people going up against the Supreme Court like, look, we have rights to the Second Amendment just as much as you guys. And they were able to win that. There were literally people trying to censor rap music. Okay, so this was at the time there were a lot of 2 Live Crew. Thank y'all. But all of this was happening in the late 80s and early 90s. There was a lot of racial tensions, police brutality, and things like this. And so that particular song, Fight the Power, that really stamped Public Enemy's legacy in hip hop, okay, was very influential to that time. And to turn around and cupcake and bastardize that song, I'm sorry. Thank you. First Amendment. Thank you, Southeast. Oh my God, y'all. I'm so used to talking about the Second Amendment lately. But yeah, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. But to literally turn around and cupcake and bastardize this song for this, Flav said it himself, this fake revolution. Why would you want to do that to your legacy? Why? Why would you use that song to attach it to a politician? Why? I do not understand that. You completely commercialized and just, this song. And so, I don't know. And maybe that's what happens when these artists work for the check, work for the money, and you don't even realize the influence or the impact that your art, your actual art, is having on culture in society because you're so focused on getting the next check. And that's why these labels and these artists, that's why these labels and these managers and all these other people are able to shape and influence and direct what was initially supposed to be art, right? And so that's how these labels are able to ruin these messages and push these other things. Hey, Mark. LeVon said even NWA was fighting for the First Amendment with the song F the Police. Absolutely. And the funny thing is, this time is actually very historic in hip hop because this time was when that type of music was literally at the top of the charts. Music with real social messages, right? Now it's all about cars, clothes, hoes. Cars, clothes, hoes. And then something else I'm missing. I'll think of it in a second. And people may argue, oh, all music isn't about that. Of course, I know that. What type of music do you think I listen to? However, when we talk about mainstream, what's playing on the radio, back in the day, you used to have songs like Fight the Power literally catching the eye of writers and awards and things like this, and being pushed on the charts, whereas now you don't have, if you want to find any of that type of music that actually has a message, stands for something, was talking about real social change. And when I say that, I'm talking about people actually trying to influence law. Okay, it's one thing to virtue signal. It's one thing to say what's socially acceptable or trying to sound cute. It's another thing to actually try to influence and impact your community and impact law. Okay, those are two different things. So there was a huge shift and how hip hop has gone, and to undermine that and to not be able to see that from the perspective we see it from just says something. But yeah, so I couldn't believe that. 35 years, and this, according to, Chuck D's people, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. How convenient. I find it really interesting. But so yeah, I think that's over for Flavor Flav. He basically was not very happy about that, and he was like, Chuck D, I can't believe you would let something like this come in between us. But I guess that's how that goes. But anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with Super Tuesday. So y'all know today is Super Tuesday. So you have 14 state primaries taking place today, amounting to 1,357 pledged delegates, which is about 34% of the nationwide total. So Super Tuesday is a big deal. It kind of gives the pundits and news people a guess at who will be most likely to win the DNC nomination. Well, right before Super Tuesday, you have Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg dropping out of the presidential race. Not only do they drop out, they go on to back Biden. I find this very super interesting. This is according to rawstory.com. Former Vice President Joe Biden's Democratic presidential bid picked up steam on Monday as he was set to pick up the endorsements of two former 2020 rivals, Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg. Y'all know I'm probably saying it wrong. On the eve of the crucial Super Tuesday primary elections, Klobuchar, a U.S. Senator from Minnesota, will become the third 2020 candidate in as many days to drop out of the race when she announces the suspension of her campaign in Dallas, where she will also publicly back Biden. Former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete, who ended his White House bid on Sunday, also plans to endorse Biden in Dallas, a top advisor said. Biden is fresh off a resounding victory in Saturday's South Carolina primary and is aiming for a strong showing on Super Tuesday against U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, the national frontrunner and a Democratic socialist for Vermont. But Biden also faces a challenge from billionaire former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg among voters hoping the party will nominate a moderate. The Super Tuesday contestants offer the biggest one-day haul of the 1991 delegates needed to win the party's nomination at its national convention in July, with about 1,357 delegates, or nearly 1/3 of the total number up for grabs. The 14 states, California, Texas, Virginia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Vermont, Colorado, Utah, North Carolina, and Maine. So, is it just me? Or does it seem like somebody called up Amy Klobuchar and beat Pete's phone real quick and was like, look, go ahead and drop out. Go ahead and endorse Biden. We'll write you this check and we'll promise you, some type of future seed or future endeavor or book deal or we'll help you run again in 2024. Like, how convenient. How convenient. So I'm assuming maybe Elizabeth Warren will be dropping out soon. And it's going to be so crazy when Elizabeth Warren drops out, because everybody is going to be waiting to see who the heck she endorses. She literally won't endorse Bernie because she literally won't endorse Bernie for the simple fact she's been having this spat with Bernie, right? And she's also one of Hillary's little minions, okay? And Hillary hates Bernie. So therefore, because of Elizabeth Warren's connection, she's going to have to endorse Bernie. However, if Elizabeth Warren she's going to have to endorse Biden. However, when she endorses Biden, y'all are going to see so much public hate for Elizabeth Warren. It is going to be crazy. Okay, the establishment after her endorsement of Biden is going to pat her on the back. They're going to set her up for future positions, future nominations. She'll continue to be Hillary's little minion. However, all right, a lot of this campaign, she has loved saying, I'm more progressive than Bernie. I'm more progressive than Bernie. And then you're going to turn around and endorse a very moderate, very establishment candidate. This is going to be so interesting to see. But so we already know, right? If you've been following me, and not even if you've been following me, if you're just smart and you actually pay attention and you've been looking at what's been going on, we know that the DNC is literally setting Bernie Sanders up for failure. This is what they're doing. It should be obvious to anybody with two eyes. If you have one eye, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. If you have two eyes, I just can't do it. All right? This is the same thing that happened in 2016. The only difference is it is so grossly, I'm talking about, it's just sloppy at this point, obvious what the DNC is doing to Bernie. Everybody freaking knows it. Everybody. So people are saying this. A lot of people are saying, why are y'all doing this to Bernie? Why are you setting him up to fail? Why are you trying to block him out? Why are you not letting the will of the people speak and let the chips fall where they may? So Donna Brazile goes on Fox News, and let's see what Donna Brazile says.
Donna earlier on the program, chairwoman of the RNC, and she was talking about the possibility of a brokered convention, the impact that would have on Bernie Sanders. Here's Rhonda.
It does depend on how big the lead that Sanders takes out of California is, if he picks up a huge proportion of delegates. But I don't see anybody getting out soon, and it's leading towards potentially a brokered convention, which will be rigged against Bernie if those super delegates have their way on that second vote.
To that, you say what, Donna?
First of all, I want to talk to my Republicans. First of all, stay the hell out of our race. Stay the hell out of our race. I get sick and tired, Ed, and Sandra, of listening to Republicans tell me and the Democrats about our process. First of all, they don't have a process. They're canceling primaries. They have winner take all. They don't have the kind of democracy that we see on the Democratic side. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Rhonda, go to hell. This is not about, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed.
These people are crazy. They're crazy. She just said for people to use Russian talking points to sow division between Americans. How dare you, Donna? How dare you? The entire DNC for the last how many years? Like going on 4 years now. That's all we've heard about. Russia talking points, Russiagate. This is unbelievable to me. They're so whacked out that they don't even realize how contradictory they are. That alone is enough to just think this is absurd.
We're not trying to prevent anyone from becoming the nominee. If you have the delegates and win, you will win. This notion that somehow or another Democrats are out there trying to put hurdles or roadblocks before one candidate, that's stupid. I know what's going on.
This is, y'all, you cannot make this stuff up. This is a movie. This is a movie. This is an actor. She's an actor. This lady that you are seeing on your screen right now gave Hillary Clinton the debate answers in 2016 and really sits here and tell us this is stupid for you to think that we will put roadblocks in front of candidates. This is a movie. This is why I tell y'all, 90% of this stuff is not real. These people contradict themselves so much. It's mind-blowing, it's boggling, and it's very offensive to the American people. It's very offensive to the people sitting at home. Every freaking body, anybody with common sense knows that the DNC, they literally changed the rules for Mike Bloomberg. Literally. They were literally changing rules so that the lower, less talked about non-establishment candidates couldn't even reach the debate stage in the earlier debates. This has been happening. Their contempt for us to continually treat us like we are just stupid. It is offensive. This lady sat here, she gave Hillary Clinton the answers to the 2016 debates. What do you call that? If that is not blocking candidates, what do you call that? And we still know this is happening right now. And you tell Republicans to go to hell? Republicans aren't even the only people that think this. Ask any freaking progressive. Ask any progressive voters. Progressives actively talk about Russiagate. I've heard progressives talk about how the whole Russiagate thing was going to come back to bite Bernie in the butt, which it has. We talked about this last week. Okay. But they also know that the establishment and DNC candidates, news pundits, anchors, all of these people, they've literally done ridiculous stories or not even covered other candidates. Like, this is a team effort by the DNC. They are literally, Mike Bloomberg is basically funneling money into the DNC because they're broke. And so you want me to sit here and believe, Donna, girl,
are scared of Democrats coming together to defeat Donald Trump. They need to be focusing on what we're focusing on, the Democratic Party, and that is preventing.
And this is what they tell y'all. This is what they tell y'all to trick you. They point, oh, it's just Republicans saying this. Republicans need to stay. No, everybody knows this, Donna. Everybody knows it. Democrats, progressives, Republicans, independents. It's so blatantly obvious that it's sickening. The only people that fail to admit what the DNC is actively doing are only the vote blue no matter who people. They're the only ones with the one eye trying to completely overlook what the heck the DNC is doing.
Foreign interference in our elections. Stop using Russian talking points, Madam Chairwoman. Period.
All right.
Stop using it.
Donna, with all due respect, we had her on to talk about what she sees happening here in the same way that we asked you to.
But Sandra, she's not a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, but I'm also an American, and I have a responsibility to make sure that the process, I know the process, Rhonda knows the process, but to infer that they're trying to prevent one candidate over another, that's not happening. And if there's any proof, Madam Chairwoman, any proof, Mr. President, that we're trying to somehow or another change this process for one candidate.
Let's just take it.
You've already done it. Y'all did it in 2016. This is Donald Trump. They are staging a coup against Bernie. They are staging a coup against Bernie. You got Democrats getting mad because Donald Trump says it. Why? The truth is the truth. It doesn't care who tells it. Okay? Regardless of love or hate the freaking Republicans, Donald Trump was a non-establishment candidate and they let him go through the process. They might have laughed at him and talked about him the whole way through, but they were even using the DNC. This is so funny and this is so crazy, and this is how un-American the DNC has actually become. And I don't know when people are just finally wholeheartedly accept it, but the DNC is so bad that not only do they block Republican candidates, you block your own freaking ones. What kind of sense does that make? You spent 4 years talking about Russiagate, right? Now you're going to turn around and do the same thing, do it even worse to Bernie than you did in 2016. Not only that, you have the nerve in the umpteenth hour to tell us, stop using Russia talking points. I'm an American. Why would we do that, Mrs. Give away all the freaking debate answers? But you want to be Mrs. Johnny Come Lately, tell us to stop using Russia points. It was totally okay when y'all did it this whole entire time. They're still trying to attach Russia bad, right? So you just throw Russia in there to still make people think. Didn't the DNC, weren't y'all just the ones that came out a week ago and literally said that Bernie, that Russia was now trying to help Bernie? Wasn't that the intelligence agency? Like, pick something, pick a narrative and stick to it. Because y'all are all over the place. Y'all are all over the place. All over the place. Even your own people know what the DNC is doing. They're admitting it, okay? Former advisor of Barack Obama says the quiet part out loud. The elites of the Democratic Party decide the nominee, not voters. The party decides its nominee. The public doesn't really decide the nominee. Superdelegates are very influential to the party. I'm about to show y'all this clip. I could not find this clip anywhere. I could not find it anywhere. I could not find it on MSNBC. I could not find it on YouTube. I could not find it online. Thankfully, people had screen grabbed it and put it on Twitter. But this is what they do when they slip up or they make a oops. They'll digital book burn. Okay. But watch this. This is literally a DNC, a Democrat, a Barack Obama former advisor telling you. He's going to tell you. Watch this.
And we're starting to hear this more and more, and we'll probably have a better sense, obviously, Tuesday after the 1,300 delegates that are perhaps there are spoken for. But this idea that perhaps Bernie Sanders is moving the goalposts a bit when it comes to delegates and what could go down at the convention in Milwaukee. What say you to that?
Well, I will say that Bernie is moving the goalposts. This is what people need to remember. The Democratic Party has a party. The party decides its nominee. The public doesn't really decide the nominee. The public gets to vote for President of the United States, but people who are active in the party, who participate in the party, they decide the nominee. Super delegates are very influential in the party. Also, delegates are very influential. And just because you're a pledged delegate for Bernie Sanders or a pledged delegate for Joe Biden doesn't mean when you get to the convention floor that you'll stay a delegate for Biden or Sanders. That's a process. And so it is a process to pick the candidate who wants to be the standard bearer for the party to try to win in November. And so Bernie got to understand that process. And it's a real selective and detailed process. In 2008, the Obama campaign from the very beginning focused on the delegate process because we knew it all was going to come down to the delegates, who's committed to you, who wants to be on your team at the end, and do you really feel like they can be elected?
It's a really selective and delicate process. And it's going to come down to, do you really feel like they can be elected? The DNC hates Bernie Sanders. And regardless of how you feel about Bernie Sanders, regardless of how you feel about his politics, there is a process that is supposed to be happening here, and it's supposed to kind of be something like democracy. I mean, as ironic as that sounds, believe it or not, it's almost a little bit supposed to be something like democracy. They hate Bernie Sanders. If that is not clear to you by now, this person, so Donna Brazile is coming out. Republicans, basically, they need to mind their own business. She tells the chairwoman, go to hell, this, that, and the other. Republicans are trying to use Russia talking points to sow division, to sow discord in the DNC. What about this guy? What is he saying? Donna, can you answer to him? Donna, can you answer to Anton Gunn? What about him? He's a part of the Democratic Party. He's a Democrat. He can talk, right? Since you want everybody else to shut up, you want to censor us because what we think don't matter. If you're not a Democrat, what about the progressives? What about the progressives in the Democrat Party that are also seeing this Russiagate BS and seeing what y'all are doing to lock out Bernie? Not only that, take a look at your girl Hillary. She just won't sit down. She won't sit down anywhere. She's always there. Every time. Here she comes, popping her little head out. On Super Tuesday.
Curious to get your response to hearing that Bernie Sanders said that if he makes it to the convention with the most pledged delegates, that he should be the nominee. That's quite a bit of a change in stance from 2016. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is let's follow the rules. We've got rules. We had rules last time, and we have rules this time. And
the little head shake was so condescending. So condescending.
I think it's always a good idea to follow the rules. Everybody knew what they were when you got into it.
In the campaign, in the documentary, you talk about his campaign from 2016, and you call it, quote, just baloney, and I feel so bad that people got sucked into it. Do you still feel that way now?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, that was my authentic opinion then. It's my authentic opinion now.
Oh, God.
Every time.
So that was her. That was her on in America. These are people in the DNC telling you, Donna Brazile, even if you don't want to hear from us. This man got on national TV and said, oh, it is not really what the voters decide. I mean, we give y'all a choice. We give you the final choice, and then you just go vote Democrat on vote day. They don't hide the stuff anymore. It is out there. If you want to find it, if you want to see, it is there. It is very clear what the DNC is doing. They are using super delegates to twist the direction of the campaign, the interest and the will of the people. That's what's happening. And whether people want to believe it or not, the DNC hates Bernie. They do not like him. And this is why I personally wish Bernie Sanders would have joined arms with Tulsi Gabbard in these attacks on Hillary Clinton, okay, on the DNC, on Google, on all these other things. Give people the information and let them decide. You cannot do that when you're in an echo chamber and the DNC is standing in the way. They are literally creating not only the information that y'all are receiving, but they're picking a candidate for you and telling you, yeah, this was your choice, you know? I mean, that's who you picked. I mean, that's who you wanted, right? I mean, at this point, it's just way too obvious. It's way too obvious. And as much I believe this, and I can't say for sure, this is just an assumption, but I believe as much as Donald Trump doesn't want America to be socialist, I also don't think he wants them diverting the will of the people like that. Everybody sees what's happening. It's just too obvious. It's too obvious. And people are saying, Trump's just saying that because he's scared to go up against Joe Biden. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? That's what y'all think? How'd you come up with that one? If anything, I think he would have to do a little bit more work to at least Bernie has like he has like this, what's this? I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but I think Bernie is able to appeal to people more emotionally, whereas Joe Biden doesn't have that. Joe Biden doesn't have that at all. And so a lot of people that are going to be voting for Joe Biden would be, or I should say pushing Joe Biden, right? At this point will probably be the vote blue no matter who, or like we see happening in Virginia and South Carolina. I can't remember which one of them. I think it's South Carolina that has a big older Black population. You're going to see some of those votes going for Joe Biden or whatever. But I hope nobody really believes that Trump is afraid to go up against Joe Biden as opposed to Bernie Sanders. Like, please don't kid yourself. But Grace said both parties would not let Bernie get anything done. I absolutely agree with that. I was reading an article today, and I think it was more statements from the Antoine gun guy, if I'm not mistaken. And it was basically saying how these weren't his exact words, but to paraphrase, that how Bernie is able to run in the DNC as a socialist and how it's not fair. And so because of that, Bernie basically needs to take a back seat and play by the rules. Because a lot of them don't think it's fair that with his policies, he's able to run with the DNC. And I think that is possibly a fair point. I've said this a lot of times, that you have progressives, and the way the media presents progressiveness to us can be very extremely polarizing. And then on top of that, with Bernie's socialist or democratic socialist agenda, you have some people that just don't like that, and it's being mixed in with the DNC. And what's happening, what we've seen, is now you've had moderate candidates that basically have to lie, because this is what they're doing. Okay, you have, because now they have to appeal to this new demographic that Bernie Sanders is appeasing, that Bernie Sanders is gaining, particularly with younger voters. So it's very hard for Joe Biden to compete up against a Bernie Sanders and grab that segment of voters. So what they have to do is fake, even with Elizabeth Warren, oh, I'm just as progressive as Bernie Sanders. I'm progressive too. Look at my green plan. Look at my this and that. And we mostly know a lot of that is a switch and bait, because actually some of those candidates are very moderate, but they have to, bob and weave to try to appease to the more progressive voters, now that you have people like Bernie Sanders and AOC basically infiltrating the DNC instead of having their own party. And so that's what we see happening. But the establishment is absolutely 100% not ready for a progressive socialist candidate. That's not what they want. And let's be honest here, a lot of the Republican and Democratic candidates are funded by and care about some of the same things. Okay, when we think about war and big pharma and prisons and all this other stuff, so they have a lot of that in common. But so I think Bernie Sanders is currently the front runner for Super Tuesday so far, by what I can tell. And I think Biden is a front runner. I'm sorry, y'all. Biden and Bernie is just so close. I'm trying to keep it. But Biden is a front runner from what I'm able to tell. And I think Biden is going to come in strongly. And believe it or not, I actually think, particularly when it comes to the Black community, just as far as like a marketing perspective, Mike Bloomberg, and we know this is because of money, but Mike Bloomberg seems to have the most marketing appeal. I honestly believe if he had gotten in the ring sooner and did a lot more campaigning and canvassing and stuff like this, I honestly think he would be more favored possibly than Joe Biden. And why I say this is because if you pay attention to his marketing techniques, and yes, we know he's able to do these different marketing techniques because of all the money that he's putting into this. But one thing, he speaks directly to Black voters, directly. He speaks to a lot of things that have been talked about from Black voters, particularly in the social sphere lately. And he is hiring and working with so many blue checks. I heard him say the other day, oh, like I'm literally working with Black leaders to see where my misstep was with stop and frisk and this and the other. He has an ad making it seem as if Obama is actually endorsing him. Like, that's a smart marketing move, you have to admit. And so you have a lot of people. When I was riding in the car when I initially heard the ad, and you just hear it quickly. You're not really just paying attention to it. When I heard the ad, I was like, was that an Obama endorsement for Mike Bloomberg? And so I had to, I had to come home and do research. And I'm like, what is going on here? But to find out it was from previous things that they had done together. But some people aren't going to catch that. Some people aren't going to notice that. But I feel like just with a little bit more time and the right people in position, that stuff works. All these commercials and, steady dropping these hints and being seen here and doing there. Southeast said, what's a Black leader? I have absolutely no clue. I think there's actually no such thing. But that's what he said. And I really wanted to know when I heard him say that. I'm like, okay, who has he been talking to say that? But I never really followed up on it. Me too, Edward. Edward said, I am my own Black leader. Me too. Absolutely. Super Greg said, did you see the drag queen dancing with the kid? Y'all know I saw that. I did see that. While we're over here, our kids are dancing with drag queens. You got these little boys excited to get makeup palettes for birthdays. You got kids in Russia breaking down guns in 6 seconds. Firearms, rifles. I mean, our priorities, child. I don't know what to say. But yeah, crazy world. But all right, y'all. So let me address this. Then I'll get out. So Grace said, did you hear about Billy Porter playing the fairy godmother in the new Cinderella? So yes, I heard about this. So if y'all do not know, Billy Porter is going to play a genderless godmother in the new Cinderella. And I haven't spoken about this directly. I've seen some things about it, but I did post something about this today, and I'll read the actual thing that I posted. If you're not following me on Instagram and Twitter, you should be at RhondaMary Vids, VIDS, RhondaMary Vids. This is what I said. I said, imagine thinking the same Hollywood that has done nothing but show you as slaves, thugs, baby mothers, violent, hypersexualized, and uneducated is actually celebrating you by parading around drag queens. Imagine. I just find it so funny that people actually think that they're, some type of liberation or heroic revolution is coming through the television. I think that's so funny to me. And until people realize that television is mostly a money grab, mostly agenda. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. This is why you see so many. This is literally a money grab. This is why you see the freaking Public Enemy using one of hip hop's most legendary songs to a Bernie Sanders rally. Okay, money grab. And even though I know that Black drag queens exist, okay, Black transgenders exist, they do. However, this push that we see, the way particularly, if y'all notice, somebody just asked me about the drag queen dancing for the child, Black drag queen. I did a video where the city, I can't even remember what state this was, but a city hired, using taxpayer funds, hired a Black drag queen to dance for like a room, and it was something about homelessness or something. It was a meeting about homelessness. And people may say, what does race have to do with this? Or shouldn't this be more about taxpayers' money being used? The thing is, they're using your taxpayer dollars to virtue signal. They're using your emotional capital to virtue signal, okay? You want to solidify or push any issue, you put a Black person's face on it, right? Because we are the most oppressed. So, if it's a Black drag queen, that's definitely not something that you can deny, right? This is what they do. It should be so obvious. They're not celebrating you. They're not celebrating you. They're virtue signaling, they're pandering, and they're grifting. That's what this is. It's the same exact way when y'all think they're celebrating you because they make these struggle love movies. Okay, they put out a slave movie every year. You think they're celebrating your heritage. They're not. They're bastardizing it. They're pandering. They're using your emotional capital for a money grab. It's nothing more, nothing less. Okay? It's not because they care about you. It's not because they're celebrating you. Oh my God. Power to the people. No. No revolution, no liberation is coming through the TV. I don't know when people are going to accept that. I'm highly anti-TV. Highly. Like, I barely watch it. Barely. Hardly ever. My friend is always asking me, have you seen this? Have you seen this movie? You know I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. So, this my thoughts. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. Hopefully, everybody has a good Tuesday night. Thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me, supporting my content. If you have not become a patron, you can click the link below for only $2 a month to support my content. You do get exclusive and early content over there. Also, a big, huge shout out to my VIP patrons, Michael Ray, Valdez, and Ray Ray. They make my Tuesday shows possible. And thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good night. Bye.